Alright, section 9.1, day 2. We're going to continue talking about quadratic graphs and the properties. We're going to identify the vertex of a parabola as a maximum or minimum and find the vertex of a quadratic function given in standard form. So this is the same thing we did in day 1. Alright, for number 1 we want to identify the vertex. So we're going to come down here, put a point there, and then what's the ordered pair of that point? That ordered pair is going to be -4, -4. And then is this vertex a maximum or a minimum? It is going to be a minimum. There is no point on the graph less than that. So the vertex is the minimum point. Estimate the location of the zeros or the x-intercepts. So where does the graph cross the x-axis? Here and here. And let's label those, or the ordered pair for those points would be -6 and 0, -6, 0, and -2, 0. The y-intercept, estimate the y-intercept. Well, this is going to be definitely an estimation because the graph would intersect the y-axis somewhere up here, and so if I were to guess, I don't know, 0, 10. And then what is the rate of change from the vertex to the next point on the graph? So here's the vertex. The next point on the graph is here. Rate of change, that's slope. So slope equals rise over run. So you got to go up 1 and then over 1. So you went up, so the 1 is positive. You went to the right, so it's positive. So positive 1 over 1 is 1. Alright, number 2. Identify the vertex. So here's the vertex. And that is the ordered pair -1, 4. Is this vertex a maximum or a minimum? It's going to be a maximum because there is no point on the graph greater than the vertex. It's a maximum point. Estimate the location of the zeros. So we cross the x-axis there at -3, 0. And here at 1, 0. The y-intercept is here. That's where it crosses the y-axis, so that's at 0, 3. And then what is the rate of change from the vertex to the next point on the graph? So remember, rate of change is slope, so rise over run. So I went down 1, so since you went down, the 1 is negative. And then you went to the right one, it's positive. So your A in this case would be -1. We are going to skip the third one, and we'll do that one as a review in class. So we'll go to 4 now. So here we have a quadratic equation written in standard form. We know that it's written in standard form because the powers are written in descending order. So you have an x squared minus 4x to the first plus 3. The coefficient in front of your x squared term, that's your a. So in this case it's going to be 1 because there's nothing there. The coefficient in front of your x term is your b, so it's -4. And then your c is your constant, and that's 3. Remember that your c is also your y-intercept on the graph. Is this quadratic opening up or down? Well, we look at our a, and our a is positive. So since your a is positive, we open up. Yep, because a is greater than 0. Alright, now we're going to come down here and find what the vertex is. To find the x-coordinate of the vertex, use the formula negative b over 2a. So always write that negative. And then your b is negative 4. All over 2 times your a, which is 1. So a negative 1 times negative 4 gives you a positive 4. 2 times 1 is 2. So that's going to give us 2. So the x-coordinate of the vertex is 2. To find the y-coordinate of the vertex, we plug in 2 for x. So 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 3. So that's going to be 4 minus 8 plus 3. So that'll give us negative 1. Alright, we're going to plot that. 2, negative 1. And then draw on your axis of symmetry. Okay, so I kind of skipped. I drew in the axis of symmetry without actually finding it. Remember that the axis of symmetry is the x-coordinate of your vertex. So it would be, 4 over 2, which is 2. So it would be the line x equals 2, which we just plotted. Alright, now let's make a t-chart. So we put our vertex in the middle. So when we plug in 2 for x, we're going to get negative 1 for y. Now what we want to do is pick a x-coordinate to the right and to the left of 2. So we're going to do 1 and 3. Now when we plug in 1, so 1 squared is 1, minus 4 times 1 is negative 4, plus 3. So that's going to be 4 minus 4, that's going to give us 0. When we plug in 3, 3 squared is 9, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12, plus 3, that's 12 minus 12, that's 0. And so we're going to plot those points, 1, 0. And 3, 0. Alright, I'll also plot the y-intercept, which is 0, 3. And now, remember that the axis of symmetry divides the parabola in half. So if it is 2 units to axis of symmetry from the y-intercept, if we go 2 past it, we would get another point. So that point right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 is also a point on the graph. And then we'll connect them. And there's your sketch. Find the average rate of change between the vertex and the first point to the right. So again, rate of change, slope. So rise over run. So we go from here to here, up 1 over 1, so 1. And then the zeros, here and here. So the zeros are going to be 1, 0, and 3, 0. Alright. To number 5. Alright, so for number 5, our A is going to be negative 1/2. Our B is negative 4. And your C is negative 6. Is this quadratic opening up or down? So it's going to open down because your A, so we're going to open down because your A is less than 0. Alright, what's the vertex? Well, x equals negative b over 2a. So negative times a negative 4 all over 2 times negative 1/2. Alright, we have a negative 1 times negative 4. That's going to give us a positive 4. And then a 2 times negative 1/2 is going to give us a negative 1. So our x-coordinate of the vertex is negative 4. The y-coordinate of the vertex, we're going to plug in negative 4 in for x. So negative 1/2. So we're going to get a positive 2. Oops, forgot to square that. So negative 4 squared is 16 times negative 1/2. That's going to be negative 8. And then I have a positive 16 minus 6. So it's going to give us 2. So negative 4, 2. There's your vertex. Your axis of symmetry, so it's going to be 4 over negative 1, which is negative 4. So we'll sketch that in. Alright, now vertex, negative 4, 2. Okay, so now we want to pick a point to the left and to the right of negative 4. And we're going to use an even number because we're going to be dividing by negative 1/2. So we're going to be dividing by 2. So we want it to be even. So we're going to pick negative 2 and negative 6. Alright, so negative 1/2 times negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 2 minus 6. So negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times a negative 1/2. So you see why we picked, if we would have had an even number, let's just say we would have picked an odd, if we would have picked an odd number, like 3, negative 3. Negative 3 squared would have given us 9. Then we divide 9 by 2 and got a weird fraction. So that's why we picked an even number. And then we're going to have a plus 8 minus 6. So negative 1/2 times 4, that's negative 2. So negative 2 plus negative 2 plus 8 minus 6, that's going to give us 0. And then plug in negative 6, and you're also going to get 0. Alright, so negative 2, 0. Negative 6, 0. There's your parabola. Alright, find the average rate of change between the vertex and the first point to the right. So rate of change is slope. So from here to the first point to the right, come on, so right there. So I'm going to be going down a half, so negative 1/2 is the rise, and then I go over 1, so negative 1/2 is your A. Your zeros, we already found those, so negative 2 comma 0 and negative 6 comma 0. Now I forgot this on the last one. So is the vertex a minimum or a maximum? So this vertex is going to be a maximum because there's no point on the graph bigger than that. On the previous one, go back, you would have a minimum. Alright, so that wraps it up for 9.1.